Okay.
Here we go. Hey, good evening, everyone. We've got another amazing band for Duggystone Radio's introducing, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves now. Who are you?
Am I taking it, Danny? Or are you taking it?
I'll let you go, Jack.
Look how polite we are. We're the band Yesteryears. We're from Greater Manchester, and Jack, and obviously we've got Danny as well. I sing, and Danny plays guitar.
Awesome. There's more than you two in the band. There's not just you two, is there? Is there more?
Yeah, there's
5 of us.
Yeah, thought so.
5 in total. Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely brilliant. From Greater Manchester. Oh, there you go, you see. More Manx in the house. We like that. So I've not lived there for quite some time now, but yeah, I come from Patrickcroft, Eccles way. So yeah, that's where I'm from. So whereabouts in Greater Manchester are you then?
We're from Wigan, most of us, to be honest. In fact, all of us are, yeah.
Well, on next week's Dougie's Atomic Dustbin, Janny said, should we do a Manchester special? Because that show is all about a bit like the indie scene. And she said, can we include Wigan in that? I went, well, yeah, go on then. So we've called that show the Manx and Pie Eaters Special. That's next week's show. So, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Great
Wigan,
stuff.
Wigan. So you're set to be on the stage at Summerfest in May.
We are indeed.
How do you feel about
that? Well, it's just, I think we're pretty excited, really. It'll probably be the biggest gig we've played so far in this band. I mean, generally, we're quite a new band, which started just before COVID anyway, so it's probably only our 5th gig in total, so it's quite a big gig for our 5th gig.
Excellent. Well, you only started yesterday, didn't you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, where does the name come from, then? Yesteryears.
Do you know what? I think we were throwing ideas around for names, and I think given the fact that a lot of us have been in bands for a long time, really, so although we say Yesteryears formed relatively recently, we've all been playing in bands since we were sort of 15, 16, so, over half our lives we've been playing music, and I think Yesteryears is just sort of a final, for myself and maybe some of the others, just a sort of final go at it again, just to sort of enjoy it. But it's also that sort of reminiscence around what we've achieved before in bands and just sort of living that again. So it sort of comes from, I guess, from that, really.
Excellent. Brilliant.
It's kind of a bit of nostalgia into it, really, because in a sense, in the past, we've all kind of crossed paths with different bands where we've played gigs together. So it was nice that we're all in a band together now.
Yeah, it's interesting now when you've been in other bands and you're not aware of each other. It's pretty cool. So you set up just before COVID, before the old lurgy started.
Yeah, good timing.
Yeah, excellent timing, brilliant timing. Just what you want as a band, where you earn your money going out gigging and meeting the public to can't go anywhere. So what did you do at that time? Did you use it like some bands just went into the studio or just? Well, they couldn't go in the studio, but they just went into writing mode and producing mode. Did you do any of that, or you just go, well, all right, we'll wait till it all comes back again?
A bit of both, weren't it, Danny, really? We sort of tried to do little bits, and then I think, like, even just sort of, like, mentally, I think a lot of us just, because we didn't know what was going on, not just, like, musically with the band itself, but just in terms of our jobs and our lives and things, it just felt like everything was very much up in the air. So we'd try and do things, and it was sort of like you just sort of lose momentum, I think, because as it went on, it just seemed to get worse. And I think, as we've all seen now, some of the things that the politicians were doing, and some of the things that were just being told to do one thing and then contradicting the next, and just it was just so up and down. I think you just lost momentum to do anything almost that you enjoyed, really. It became a bit stagnant because of that. But we did do bits and pieces. We also changed a member because one of our members moved to the other side of the country, so it wasn't like a political thing. She found romance and moved. So we sort of went through that change as well. And we were sort of, during lockdown, toying with the idea of continuing as a 4-piece as opposed to 5. So it got us sort of playing around with more sort of like backing track stuff and electronic stuff, which we sort of dabbled into a little bit during lockdown. But then as we sort of came out of it and entered the practice room, we did sort of feel like just playing to our strengths, really, and went back to being a 5-piece and just moved the pieces around the board a little bit in terms of the lineup. So Ian, who was our guitarist, he moved to bass. I think he decided during lockdown that he just fancied a different change himself. Having played guitar most of his life, he just decided he wanted a new challenge. So he picked up a bass in lockdown and started playing bass. And then obviously we were fortunate that a friend's band that didn't really survive after lockdown, I think they sort of decided to call it quits. We were able to sort of pick up a new member, which is Matt, who's our new guitarist alongside Danny.
Excellent. Well, I think what we'll do, we'll play one of your tracks. We've got a video, Chemical. Yeah, that's the one. That's how you pronounce it, I presume.
Yeah.
What's this about? Has it got a story behind it, or what? Or is not? I don't know. You, Danny, what's your views on this one? What's the story behind it?
I just write most of the melodies, to be honest. I think Jack's probably best placed in terms of explaining the lyrics.
I was just trying to bring you into the conversation. Over to you, Jack. What's this track about?
I'll take the opportunity.
I mean, Danny sort of sums up our sound as we do happy, sad songs, I think is what Danny says. So
right.
A lot of our songs tend to be a lot of our songs seem to be, like romance songs, whether that's in a good way or a bad way. And I think Chemical is that sort of, well, you're questioning a relationship, whether it is, is it chemical, is it physical, and you're not quite sure what the attraction is, and does it work, does it not work, and it's sort of around that idea.
Okay, well, we're going to spin it, and cue the VT, as he said, cue the VT. We're right back, people, with Yesteryears. Get on this.
If you need me, come and find me. If you're feeling that you're lonely, come and hold me till the morning. Let the sunrise
Well, there you go. That's the way to start a show. What do you think of that, people? Absolutely wonderful. Great vibe, guys. I love it. Love it. Let me get you on.
Thanks.
Let me get back on screen. There you go. Back in the room. But yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. It's it's got everything on it. Got good big sound.
Yeah, it's hard to sort of we always find it very difficult to try and tell people what it sounds like. It's hard. It's like a weird genre to sort of explain. Just sort of, like you said, happy, sad songs.
New genre, good shit. It's good shit. That was brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, I know what you mean. Where'd you? And this is the trouble a lot of time with genres, because you pigeonhole something into a genre and it takes on a totally new meaning. Like we do country shows on the station. You say, "Oh, country people, I don't like country." Yeah, but it's a massive genre, from southern rock to bluegrass to the old school stuff, everything in between. You know, country pop. Some of the trot songs are on popular radio stations and on radio stations, and people would never know it was country, but it is. But yeah, I get you. It's a difficult one, really, and it's pigeon yourself in. Well, you don't want to put yourself into a hole. Like it.
Oh, not really.
I like it. Oh yeah, Tony's on. Tony's watching, Gaffer, and he says, "Say good evening to me." So no mistakes, eh? Old fellow, Wigan and all that. He'll kick off.
Yeah.
Kick off.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So right, we've got a couple of questions that we don't do any questions on the show, but there's a couple of questions that creep in from time to time. One, and he's on.
Okay.
He's from Eddie, who's a complete gonk. He's one of the founders of the station, and he always asks the bands every week, "Do you have a tour van? And if you have a tour van, what kind of tour van do you have?"
We don't have a tour van, but Jack's recently bought himself a van that's a little dinky van, and we like to try and tell people that that's our tour van.
He'll be gagging now. What kind of van is it, Jack?
Well, it's called Hunk, for Hunk of Junk, and that's its nickname is Hunk. And it's such a joy to drive with. It's not really at all. It's a Fiat Cubos. It's a multiple purpose vehicle, so the seats roll forward and things. It gives you the bigger space in the back, which just comes in handy if you're throwing all the bits and stuff in.
Exactly.
It's nice to have the space.
Exactly.
But yeah, someone tried to break into it the other week in Manchester, and as a result, the door doesn't work. So I have to open the sliding back doors to lean over to open the driver's door, which isn't ideal, but it just adds to the character of it, along with the kind of hundreds of stickers that I've started to put all over it. So.
Love it. Well, when I lived in Holland for a while, I was a bit reckless then. I bought a car off a guy, and allegedly it was legit, but yeah, allegedly. And my cousin came over from Canada, and he said, "Can I borrow your car?" I went, "Yeah, my car's there. You know what I mean? Borrow my car. I'm working. You take my car." He went, "Where's the keys?" I went, "There it is. Screwdriver." He went, "What's that?" I went, "That's the key for the car." He went, "What do you mean?" I went, "There's no barrel in the thing. Just use the key and start it up." So I don't think it was legit, but back then I didn't care. So yeah, it's one of those things. So yeah, I feel your pain. To be fair, I think it adds character to it. It gives us stories and stuff really to tell about, so. Exactly. So have you got any stories? Has anything disastrous happened at a gig? Do you know what I mean? What's the worst gig you've been to? Because we like them because they're quite normally interesting.
I don't think we've done enough gigs yet for have anything really disastrous to happen. I mean, my guitar strap packed in one way halfway through a set once. Luckily, it was at the start of a song. So.
Start of the song, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So the sort of screw came out of the bottom of my guitar and the strap fell off. So I luckily had another guitar spare. I could swap it over pretty quick. But
cool.
Yeah, that's about as near as we've got so
far.
far.
As of yet, have we? I mean, other than like incredibly rushed sound checks, we played a show last Friday and it just seemed, I don't know what time had gone, but it was very much a very quick line check. And it was almost like, right, we're good to go. And that was it. And you just like, oh, we're really not. So, it was fine in the end and we still enjoyed it. But obviously when you can't quite hear what you want to hear, it's always a little bit
frustrating.
Testing. But yeah, we've not done too bad. I mean, the shows that we played, each one has had its own little moment. Like you said, with Danny's guitar strap falling off. We played a show in December with a great band called As December Falls, but we played at a place called Gulliver's in Manchester.
Right.
And I think the stage is just so small because they had obviously different bands on and everyone's gear was just slowly adding to the stage. It just ended up being so small that you literally couldn't move. It was like playing in a bedroom with full fitted wardrobes. You just couldn't turn for the love of money. And every time I moved, my elbow just kept hitting Ian's bass, that top of his bass constantly.
Oh, man.
And it was just, but it got to a point where we were almost like a routine. He would see me turn and he'd just tip the bass and then come back down. And then
Like the tango. Tangoing around the stage so you can do your bits. Brilliant. You'll have to do a video. You'll have to do a video like that where you're all cramped and you can't move. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah,
I wish somebody had filmed the gig, to be honest.
I know that'd be great. And listen, we don't want any disasters until after May, so we want all good stuff in May at Summerfest. No disasters there, just a good experience. You know what I mean? Loads of sound checking, etc., etc. So wonderful. I'll just check if you've got. Who's your inspiration for your music? I think that was the one that I noticed before. If I'm looking over here, this system here where I should get my messages are not coming up. I'm having to go over here.
That's fine. Danny, go on. I'll let you take this one.
Okay, to be fair, we have quite a mixed bag of inspirations, really, because we all listen to quite a range of material, to be honest. But I think we sort of tend to gravitate more towards bands like the band Camino, some elements of 30 Seconds to Mars in there, some like a band called The Main. We always like that band. But there's a broad range of stuff. There's so many bands that we all listen to. I think it all just comes together collectively and just sounds how it sounds.
Yeah. Sure.
Cool. I'm going to throw another one in that we bang in every now and then, and you don't have to answer this question if you don't want. Some bands have refused. But anyway, he won last night. I couldn't stop him. Room 101. Which band would you put in Room 101? Never to be seen ever again.
Oh, that's controversial.
I mean, if you want, I'll play a track and you can have a think about it. If you don't want to answer it, you don't have to, because some people say I don't really want to do that. That's fine. But we like to tease stuff out. Last night he went mentally. He started naming. He named 3 or 4 bands, and then started naming specific tracks from other bands. I don't like that. I was like, wow, hang on a minute. He had a full bucket yesterday in Room 101. Right, let's get this other track. And what have we got here for you? It's, so have a think about that. Taste like summer. What is the story behind this? Or is it just about summertime?
Yeah, it was kind of one of the first songs we wrote, really, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's very early, kind of sort of in the formation of Yesteryears, and it's kind of just a poppy upbeat song, really, like a more of a summer song to try and it just happened out on the spot one day in the practice room, didn't it? And Jack sort of wrote the lyrics on the spot, and it just came together out of nowhere.
I like that. Yeah. Well, without further ado,
I think we were writing it on a summer evening. Sorry, but we were writing it in summer, weren't we? It was sort of a summer evening, and the room that we were in had these big windows that you could see out, and you could see all the drunks on the park bench across the way. That definitely didn't inspire the lyrics, but I think we just were sort of influenced by the season, and it was excited to be back into a room. And I think that's where this sort of upbeat song came from, really.
Yeah.
Let's have it then. Let's have it. Get on this, people.
Cool.
Oh yeah, straight in. But with the Yesteryears.
Just what you do to me, you're taking it real deep. Say, won't you say just what I wanna hear? Just whisper of drug. Spill the truth. Just tell me how you feel. Can this all be real? I stare at the stars and wonder why you went. And I still wonder if you stare at them as well. You are the girl who tastes like summer, and I know you're the one. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. You are the girl who tastes like summer, and don't blink, and you're gone. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. I wonder what I feel like when you're gone. What will life be like when you're gone? What will life be like when you're gone? What will life be like? You're the girl who tastes like summer, and I know you're the one. So sweet, so sweet. You are the girl who tastes like summer, and I know you're the one. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. You are the girl who tastes like summer, and don't blink, and you're gone. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. You are the girl who tastes like summer, and I know you're the one. You are the girl who tastes like summer, and don't blink, and you're gone. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet.
Oh boy, I love it, love it. That's absolutely wonderful, guys. And a couple of people have commented, great track to open Summerfest with.
Yeah, it's quite fitting with the name, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, but that once again is full on in your face track, and I just one of those tracks that you could flick on and no one had heard before, and they'd get into it straight away because it's just got it, and it's just got that. Oh, come on!
It's quite good for catching people's attention.
It's great that, and from the first bar, boof, you come in, you just don't build up to it. It goes straight in, boof, rip it off. A couple of things about the video. Love the glasses, Jack. Awesome glasses, them, the white ones. They're smart. I might have to get some of them. And I like the tats as well. Cool.
Yeah, it's a growing collection.
Yeah, I like it, man. The style's good. Style's good. Where was the video done? Because that's quite cool. It looked like it was in someone's lounge, but obviously it wasn't, was it? Was it a studio?
No, it was done in a wedding venue in Wigan called Ashfield House. When I'm not sort of on the mic, I'm behind the camera and I shoot weddings, which I've done for the past 9 years. And fortunately, Katie, the lovely owner of Ashfield House, let us come in the afternoon and shoot a video there. The only drawback to most wedding venues is they usually have like noise limiters, which this was the case in this room. But we discovered that if we ran a long extension cable from the hallway, it bypassed the noise limiters. We were able to just go sort of hell for leather in the room. It was in the middle of the day. Most people would have been work. So
yeah, exactly.
It's made for like the evening sort of thing. And we had it done in a couple of hours. But yeah, we sort of had to bypass the limiter because every time we sort of got into shooting, it would just trip the power and everything would have to stop. So we found a way around it. But no, it was a lovely venue called Ashfield House in Wigan that used the room. So.
Looks good. Yeah, it was a great video. Love it a bit. So I was going to ask you about work because you have a mixture of bands that have decided. We had Booming on the other week, and they've gone all out, and they're now on. They're doing stuff on cruise ships and what have you. So sounds like you all in gainful employment as well as doing the band. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. We're
So,
all,
what's the list of jobs? Let's have, what sort of jobs have we got in the band?
Go on,
So
Scott.
I'm like a civil engineer, project manager type thing, so working in construction.
Nice.
We've got Scott, who's a teacher, that teaches music at a school. Ian, he does some techie stuff. I'm not quite sure what it is.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew when you get to Ian, you'd be like,
Techie shit. He does that.
what does Ian do?
He has told me before, and he's just told me a few times, and I get that it's techie, but I don't quite understand what it is.
Do you know what it is? You know when someone's like a spy and they can't say what they do? I think that's what happens to Ian. So he just tells us, I just do some stuff with coding.
Yeah.
And he never really sort of pinpoints it, but he could be James Bond in real life for all we know. But
it could be.
He has a job coding.
Hopefully, he's not like the IT gang, is it? Whatever that TV show is, where they're, them. But see what he probably does. All he probably does when people phone him up is like everyone does. Have you tried turning it on and turning it off? 99% of the time, that works. So yeah.
Believe it or not, it's actually. I asked him about some computer stuff once, and he actually has a term for that. It's called power cycling, and it's a posh way of saying turning it off and on again.
I'm liking that. But hey, log that one in, people. Power cycling. Oh, I'm going to use that next time. So, have you tried power cycling? What do you mean? Turn it off, turn it on again. Oh, hang on. So, and we've also go on.
Matt, so we don't miss him out. He works for PMT, which is Danny's professional music technology. Yeah, it stands for. So he works for them. He does a lot of their merchandising and stuff. So again, music related for him as well as Scott. So.
Fancy picking that acronym, the fools. PMT, who did it? I mean, did he not think that through? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Who do you work for? PMT? Oh, God, yeah. But anyway, never mind. It's each to their own. So, what interest have you got, YouTube, outside music? Obviously, go on.
I don't really do a lot other than music, to be honest.
You eat out every other night. You're like a food connoisseur.
That's not interest, though, is it? That's just food.
Well, it's been interesting to some people. It's a tasty one, so I would say it is.
Yeah, I go out for food a bit, and I've got like a fish tank that I look after. That's not as interesting as everything gets really in my life.
Remind me not to invite me. Don't invite me to any of your parties. You sound like a hoot. Come and have a look at me fish tank. No thanks, mate.
When we're doing with the band stuff takes all my energy away. So between that and work, I don't have any in between that. I just think, I'll just sit in the house.
I like it because every band needs someone who's a steady, chilled out kind of guy, and you sound like the chilled out kind of guy until you get on stage, and then you probably then you rock it, then don't you?
Yeah. What? I mean, to be honest, I think we're all pretty chilled, really, because I know when we did the show in December, the guy took us to the backstage room and was like, "All right, here's your fridge. You can just go and buy some beers and put them in the fridge." And then we all get excited because there was a kettle on top. So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when we go out, we do party and stuff, but obviously we were all driving to the gig and stuff. So obviously you gotta be sensible. But no, I think we have hobbies outside of it. I know, like Matt, the other guitarist, he's into photography as well, so he goes and shoots a lot of landscape stuff. Ian does a mixture of things sometimes. He's like table tennis, he does photography as well. He did live music photography for a long time, shooting major festivals like Download, Leeds, Kendall Calling. He did Boomtown first, so he did that for a good few years. I think he sort of reined it back in a little bit after a while because he had like a bucket list and he kept ticking off the different things. And obviously Scott plays in a wedding band. He teaches drums, so he's sort of very much music orientated, but he's now recently a family man with his arrival of his little boy and stuff. So he's obviously got his work cut out there as well.
He has, mate. He has. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Yeah, I believe he's tuned in, so he'll be happy to know he's had a shout out there in some way. But and obviously during lockdown as well, I decided to set up a little clothing brand as a little creative outlet. So I sort of make and sell clothes through a clothing brand as well. So we're all very creative, I think.
I'm liking it. Yeah, it's quite a varied selection of things that you all do. So going back to you about your eating out, what do you normally eat out? Are you talking high end or are you talking McDonald's?
No. I mean, it's sort of around our free time. We tend to socialise as a band. We try and work time in to sort of go out for food together and stuff. And we'll all go out with our partners and stuff and friends and stuff. It's but we do tend to get out and about, like what on dog walks and stuff as well. It's just most of our time. I think with the band, it tends to be that the band was for us, a lot of us was our hobby anyway.
Yeah.
And so like it's that kind of because that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you outside of that, you kind of just do whatever. It's just a bit of downtime, really.
I mean, how cool that is to say, well, she'll be home in a band. You know what I mean? I might mock you a little bit, but just don't take it too personal. But yeah, I think it's great.
It's fine. I'm at that age now where I'm kind of just quite happy to just sit in the house. To be fair,
mate, I tell you what, it's at least you get like that. It's unbelievable. Should we go? No, we'll stay in. You know what I mean? It's like there's no queue at the bar, is there? There's no trouble. Well, hopefully not. No one's kicking off. You know what I mean? You can just get what you want, chill out and fall asleep. It's great. I love it. But but I do like to go out as well for a few beers. Janice has been on. She said, "What's your favourite song to perform?"
Oh, and Danny, you go first because we'll probably have our own different ones. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, it's that we're not on the. We won't be playing them today, and because we've recorded a couple of them, but we haven't put them up on Spotify yet. But there's a song called "Run" and also a song called "Take Me Home," and they're quite boppy and poppy and quite catchy. And at the minute, I think they're two of my favourite ones to play live.
Excellent. Plug in the new stuff. We like that. What about you?
Kind of the same, I guess. I mean, we've been having this debate recently in the practice room about what we're doing with the set and what songs should be in and out, because obviously we sort of wrote some songs prior to lockdown, which we've then brought into the set, some of them, and then we've just got back into writing since restrictions and stuff lifted, so we started writing some new stuff as well. And we've just sort of found that there's some of the older songs which maybe don't match the new songs as well, and obviously, it's always a sort of stacking game of, top trumps, which song is the best. And we want to go out and make sure that we make the best impression. So we're sort of still debating what goes in the set and what comes away from it, I guess. But I always like the new stuff because it's the new stuff. It's the stuff you've just wrote, so you're always kind of proud of it as well. And it feels like it's progression to the older stuff. But at the same time, I really enjoy playing, Taste Like Summer and Chemical live. Amongst some of the new stuff, I still feel like, considering Taste Like Summer was the first song that we wrote, I think it really sort of set a good bar level for us to sort of aim towards. So it's always going to be one of them songs that, even though we wrote it a while ago and because of lockdown it feels like even longer, it's still a song that I think is a firm favourite because it really did set the sort of the tone as to the standard that we should be writing at and stuff. So
exactly. And
I like the fact that you said it opens up with energy. We normally open the set with it because it is, like you said, right in people's faces, and the hook is sort of throughout the sort of song, and towards the end. If you're not singing it by the end, then I'll be surprised. So.
Yeah, you couldn't listen to that track for the first time and start to get into feels like something, Yeah, you've got it. But all I'd say to that, if that's your first, that was your first track that you've brought out, that's absolutely awesome, because that sort of track can take years for a band to get to. Produce, and for you to produce it as the first one, I think that's pretty stunning. I think, talking about tracks, I think we'll have one now. We've got Surrender. Is any story behind that?
Oh, Surrender's a darker one, to be honest. I think we did hit a little bit of a phase when we were writing stuff, didn't we? Because we did a track called Surrender and another one called Save This Moment, and we even had one called Danger in the Night that we've actually sort of taken from the set. But we went through this sort of phase of probably writing some stuff that was a little bit darker, really. So you'll know instantly from this one that the tone is quite different to the others, which is a good thing. It's nice to have that variety and that variation. But Surrender is quite a darker track about someone that's just closing themselves off to someone else and not letting them in because they've been hurt before and stuff. And I think that sort of comes across as a darker tone anyway, okay. But we don't really have the sugar-coated happiness sprinkled on top of this one. It's pretty much just all
right. Why not? Let's have this. We'll be right back after this track from we're talking to Yesteryears. Oh yeah, sounds dark straight away, doesn't it? Like a thriller, like something from a horror film at the start of this.
Hold me close, say you surrender, take me home, take me forever. heart that won't give in to one less sin. Surrender. Words and knives you talk, each one a deeper cut into what we got. Surrender. And now you're gone, you're gone. Will you carry on and on? You're gone. Why? Tell me why you feel this way. Feel this way. Why? Tell me why you just won't stay. Just won't stay. It's just another empty heart, broken by everyone. Why? Tell me why you feel this way. Feel this way. Your breath, suffer in silence. Feel your chest burn with the fire as the lights go out. Come the fear and doubt pressing on your heart. Surrender, clutching your last breath, whisper your last regrets you take to breath. Surrender. And now you're gone, you're gone. Will you carry on and on? You're gone. Why? Tell me why you feel this way. Feel this way. Why? Tell me why you just won't stay. Just won't stay. It's just another empty heart, just broken by everyone. Why? Tell me why you feel this way. Feel this way. So tell me why can't you feel? Please tell me why can't you feel? So tell me why can't you feel? Please tell me why can't you feel? So tell me why can't you feel? Please tell me why can't you feel? So tell me why can't you feel? Please tell me why can't you feel? Tell me why you feel this way. Feel this way. Tell me why you just won't stay. Just won't stay. It's just another empty heart, just broken by everyone. Tell me why you feel this way. Feel this way.
So if you just joined us, we're talking to Yesteryears. And I'll bring it back on screen. They did a bit of they must play rugby because they sideswiped a question earlier on, and I forgot all about it. I just remembered. Room 101. That was a good track, that, guys. I like it. It starts off a bit eerie, but then they got the beat towards the end, like we did there. Do you know what I mean? It gets uplifted at the end.
Yeah.
Room 101 question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want. Just let me know. Which band are you banging in Room 101? Never to be seen again. Could be anybody.
You know what?
I think wants to be. Go on, Danny. You do yours, and I'll come into mine.
Yeah, I think there's always like bands and songs and stuff we each individual doesn't like, and I think they always have the place somewhere because there's all music's quite broad as the spectrum anyway. And it's quite personal as well, isn't it? But they're down to personal choice. So
Yeah.
I don't like to just completely bin off a band just because I don't personally like a band. I think it all has its place. Even stuff as the weird and quirky stuff that you sometimes get as well. But no, I mean the one thing if I was to bin anything off, I think there's the one thing, that Baby Shark song that came out a few years ago. Every time I hear that really pecks my head.
Oh man. Oh God! Now that's going to be in everybody's head all the time. And is that action? I've got the actions and everything. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crap like that.
It was great for kids, wasn't it? But it was just I heard it. I think it was I heard it that often, it would just drive me mad.
Now, in another 10 or 20 years, if you go into a club and someone put that on, they'll be, oh, remember this? They'll be dancing to it, won't they?
Possibly,
kicking off. You need a remix of it. Right, we'll have that. Baby Shark. We'll have that in the bin. Because the other one was Gangnam Style, wasn't it, a few years ago? That was the same sort of thing. Same.
Yeah. I think for me, it's more like, I don't know, like sometimes if I end up with the radio on, which is quite good because I tend to just put my own playlists on and go through different playlists to discover music that way. But whenever I sometimes end up with the radio on, this sort of like mumble rap R&B stuff that's floating around where it's just half the time you just can't tell a word what's going on. And, I remember sort of like when rap was not necessarily at its peak, because obviously it's always been around, but when it was mainstream again with like Dr. Dre, when he came back with the sort of 2000 album and Eminem was signed up and you had all that sort of stuff around that time, that to me was like, it was really clear what was being said. The musically, it was, I wouldn't say it's not like a riff, like a guitar riff, but obviously like just iconic sort of like synth lines and things like that at the time that came out. Songs like Still Dre and things like that. As soon as it started, you knew it from just the synth lines and stuff. And I think that's the sound of it when it ever was to listen to rap. So it's that type of sound. But then whenever I put it on the radio, I'm like, what is this? Really, what is this? So if I could just group that together and dump that in and bring back the older sounds.
What's actually really funny about Jack saying that though is that our bass player Ian, he actually likes grime and rap music and stuff as well. So Ian will be sort of turning over in his house now, like just thinking, what is he saying?
My lad's into all of that. I mean, I've got quite a few rappers in the States that I know, and they do more gangster rap, more the traditional gangster type. But my lad, and he'll be listening to it and go, don't even know what do you know what he's saying, Dan? Not a bloody clue. When you tell me the lyrics, how have you heard them lyrics from that? But some of it I like, some of it I really, really like. I mean, I actually bought tickets to go and watch Nines, who's a London-based guy, and I couldn't believe it. I'm never going to do it again. I'm going to have to go in a Dougie Stone thing, because I went in and turned around to my lad and his mates and went, I'm the oldest bastard in this room, aren't I? They're all between 19 and 21-ish, honestly. And I stood up like, look at this granddad. I felt embarrassed to be there. Do you know what I mean? But I like the artist, so I ended up standing at the bar, minding me on my thought. They'd probably think I'm a bit of a weirdo. Do you know what I mean? So next time I go to a gig, I've got Duggystoneradio on, so at least there's a reason for me there. I'm not there going and doing anything naughty. You know what I mean?
Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because there's actually do you remember a band years ago called Hanson? They did Mbop.
Yeah.
I actually really like Hanson, and like sort of I've been watching them a few times. It's probably not going to do my credibility any good. But I've been watching them a few times, and like the range of people you get to them sort of gigs, it's not just the people from that area. You get all sorts of really mixed bag, and it's just, I think that's why it's hard to sort of try and just put a band at a particular sort of genre band in Room 101, because there's always someone somewhere that likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
which is true. Yeah, but I mean, if I can put them in the bin so that I don't have to listen to them,
that's fine. Put them in your own personal bin.
My own personal bin, then that sort of works.
And that's fine. I've not got an issue with that. You're right. There's certain stuff that I don't like to listen to, and I won't put it on. I'll turn it off, and I get that. Oh, this is an interesting question that's just popped up. Who would you like to open for?
Ooh, there's a lot of bands I would like to open for, to be honest.
That is a big one. That's a big one. I mean, it's a tough one because it's also about, like, when I was a kid and still now, like, I was always a massive Blink 182 fan and stuff. So, like, the idea of playing for them and opening for them would be amazing. But at the same time, I also like question, does the sound that we have, would it suit that crowd? So, like, I might go on stage with them. It'd be the best moment of my life because I'm playing with Blink. But at the same time, it might not be the best experience of my life because the crowd might be a bit like, this isn't for me. And I think that's, as much as I would want to play with them, I also understand that the sound might not resonate with them. Despite the fact that I'm a huge Blink fan, doesn't mean that our sound is going to be the right sound for, the core Blink fans as well. I think that's where it gets tricky because, I think if you went through the whole list of bands that we like, Blink-182, 30 Seconds to Mars, the band Camino, The Main, Paramore. I'm a huge Paramore fan. I've followed Paramore since MySpace days when MySpace was a thing, and
Wow.
watched them at Manchester Academy 3, and it was half a room at Academy 3, and now they come over and they'll do these sort of Manchester Arena and things. So been a huge fan of them. But again, I think this sound would probably be more suited for them, but maybe not so much Blink. But again, some of the bands that we like at the moment, like bands like the band Camino and things that we take a lot of influence from, then that would probably be a cool show to play for them. But I'm sure Danny will have his own. You're probably on to open for Hampton.
Yeah, no, I think my own personal preference would be like bands like the 1975 or people like All Time Low, Death of Anna, them sort of bands. I think they would be. I'd consider my life complete if I did that.
Hey, you're easily sorted, you guys, aren't you? That playing in that band and a kettle. So, I've been told not to tell you, but the room that you're in is there's a bar on there, free bar for you. So don't drive that day.
Is there a kettle?
If there's, I tell you what, if there's not a kettle in there, I'll go and buy one for you and on the day and bring it to you. All right. So
that's the only thing in our rider.
I was talking to a band yesterday, and they have riders. I mean, riders. What's all about food? They have specific food. What rider? I'm going to throw that in there for you now. What sort of riders would you like? Because some bands, don't they? They can only have blue M&Ms, or they only have this.
Yeah.
Some of it is ridiculous. What would be an outrageous? Just to take the piss. What would you order just as a rider? What do you think? See if we can arrange it with Tony. But go on. What would it be?
I think my personal one at the minute, I'm eating a lot of the them caramel brownies you get from like coffee shops and stuff like that, where they've got I've got like a proper I don't even know, like that's just an addiction I have at the minute, and I can't help myself.
It could have been beluga caviar with Dom Perignon 65. Chocolate brownies.
Easily pleased. What can I say?
He literally just said you can have anything you want. So you might be like, there's this hotel in Paris that's amazing food. And Danny's like, just the caramel muffins you get at the coffee shop.
I'm taking him out because he's going to be a cheap date. Yeah. He is.
Easily pleased.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait to meet you in person on the day, and we're going to have a good giggle. So, right, what's your crazy riders then?
Come on, Jack, blow the budget.
Come on, Jack, come on. What are you having?
I mean, I think you'd have to have some, some like Jameson, quite, a decent bottle of Jameson for everyone. I think, I'm quite picky before I play about not having like spicy foods and cheese and dairy and things, because it's not the best thing when you're singing. But I think just like buckets and buckets of KFC.
Oh yeah.
I know that's not even lavish. It's just filth. But I think just loads of buckets of just like a KFC wall, almost like a throne of them, buckets laid out in a throne that you can just sit on and pop the lid off and eat, and then put it on and just sit on it.
I love KFC. You don't have it very often, but I just thought of that with all the grease and everything. Oh man, I can't stand it. I can't stand that.
Come on, you could have picked Nando's and got a step up. Go on.
KFC. No, he's right with KFC. Why?
Yeah, but you can't build a throne like a Nando's. With a bucket, I can make a throne that I can sit on.
So the choices are for Tony. He can either create a KFC throne, or he can get a few brownies. So just let's have a guess which one you're going to get on the gig.
We are worlds apart on this.
I love that. But some of them do get dead divish, don't they? I forget who it was now. When she orders, it has to be this, that, and the other. They never touch it. It's just there in the room. I think it's just a piss take. You know what I mean? So we did
a gig on Friday. We actually got some drinks vouchers, and we were just happy with that. We were just like, we got some drinks vouchers. Come on.
Yeah, but when
I think when Tony started mentioning us playing the show and stuff, I think if anything, and I think the question was mentioned about, like riders and bits and pieces, but for us, it was just the opportunity to play, really. We're just sort of grateful to be put on a lineup with some amazing bands, and I think that was, we're just humbled to be invited, and I think that's the way it should be with anything, really. It's bands at our level and stuff, especially, it's just the opportunity to play to new people and to, play such an amazing stage with people that have been doing this, for decades, which is, inspiring. So
who on the set that you're on, the day you're on, I can't even, I've lost track of days and what days you're on. Are you on Saturday?
yeah. We're on the
Friday.
Friday. Yeah, okay. So who are you looking forward to see on Friday then? How that line up?
Obviously, you've got Human League as the headliners, so that's obviously without a doubt a cool one to, because everyone's obviously heard of Human League and stuff. So that's going to be a really cool one to sort of go with. I'm excited also to see the lottery winners, because I think as a band that's been doing it the DIY way and been doing it for again a long time, it's nice to sort of see them coming through and to sort of putting the name on the board and stuff. And I think, it's well deserved for bands like the lottery winners that have stuck around for a hell of a long time when most bands, been and gone. They've sort of pushed through. And obviously every band gets that to that point where when you've been doing it for so long, you start questioning, is the glass, as full as it's going to get? And do you reach that sort of point where you just think, what are we doing this for? And I think we've all been there, as musicians over, like I said, the 15, 16 years that we've all been playing music. I know myself especially, my first band that we ever did. And we just felt like we were just as far as we could physically go without someone else opening doors for us. But obviously the lottery winners have sort of kept going and kept pushing. And it's nice to see that sort of playing off with the success and stuff that they're getting now, because it does show that persistence pays off. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do, and I think they're no stranger to playing to big crowds as well. So I think they should have this in the bag as well. But I'm
looking forward to seeing them. I'm going to try and get them on here as well, because we're slowly working our way through the bands, and we're trying to get as far up as we can. Because as you get further up that tree, they become a bit diva-ish. I'm not talking to them, so. But it's because I'm going to be there on the day, and I'll have what I've got here. I'm going to set up a little mini studio, and we'll do some of this, and we'll do some chatting out and about. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you face to face, and the rest of the band's going to be great.
Yeah, that's good.
Going to be pretty cool. We're fast running out of time. I've got one track left, which we'll play once we say ta-ta in a bit. Lonely Hearts Club. I think that's the other one that's on the old. Is there any others on there? Yeah. So, what's that one about? Is there any story? What's the story behind that one?
Oh, so again, Lonely Hearts Club. It's got a cool groove to it. It has got a cool groove to it, but it's that sort of it's a song. I mean, some of these songs, it's nice to sort of put myself into almost like role play situations, and that particular one is about when you start to sense that a relationship again is kind of coming to an end, and it's that sort of. Are you going to be joining this sort of Lonely Hearts Club, which is, for those who have recently broken up and then the sort of where that leads you. And it's kind of about that. It's about sensing that sort of inevitable breakup. And that it's, and where it goes. But it's a cool song in terms of like it's got a really nice groove to it. It's kind of like a hip shaking song when you play live and stuff. So
there's a bit of a theme coming here about relationships and not going too good, are they? We're going to have a chat. What's going on? But anyway, yeah, cool. We'll play that. And what I'm going to have to ask you now before, sorry to interrupt you, is we've been asking artists to do us a drop. So basically saying, well, you guys, we're Yesteryears, and you're listening to Duggystone So if you could do that for us, and then Eddie will take the jingle off there and put it on the station. So over to you.
Let you go, Jack.
Am I doing it?
Yeah, I'll let you do it. You've got a better voice than me. You're the singer.
So run me through the line one more time. It's Jack from Yesteryears, and you're listening to Duggystone
Perfect. Thanks.
That was my practice run, but do
it again then. Go on.
So this is Jack from Yesteryears, and you're listening to Duggystone Radio.
Oh, that was miles better. I'm glad you did it second time. I like that. Yeah, because what we're doing is when I'm doing the shows, I'm dropping them in, and especially when we're playing some of your tracks, or the artist's tracks, it just sounds nice when, it's Roy from Shed Projects, and this is Duggystone Radio, nice one, and then his track comes. And it just adds something to the shows, and it really does makes it feel like they're still with us and what have you. But what was you going to say a minute ago then, and before I interrupted you? You was going to say something, Danny. I can't think what it was now.
Oh, I can't remember. I was engrossed in Jack then, trying to make his little introduction. I'm sure it'll come to me.
Yeah, I'm sensing a bit of it. Oh, it's down to you, Jack. It's down to you. Oh, it's not. Does he delegate everything to everyone? Does he?
It's with I suppose I always think that Jack's got a clearer voice than me, because I'm a bit more broader Wigan, and I think it's sort of I think he's probably better for that kind of stuff. That's why he's the singer, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, though. There's nothing wrong with having a distinctive accent. It's quite nice, and then people know where you're from. Be proud of where you're from. You know what I mean? It's I am, but I don't live there anymore, and I probably would never live there again. But I'm still proud of where I come from. Does that make sense? It's what's made me who I am. Do you know what I mean? It's,
I hear myself back on like when I've like done stuff before, and I feel like I've got like talk like I've got a mouthful of broken biscuits or something like
that. Tony's been on. He said, Jack, you're gonna have to make do with a kettle for now. So you can't. I think so. I'm scrubbing that off. I think the KFC throne is off the list. Yeah. Unless we can get hold of the local KFC to do something for us. So that's off the list.
We'll survive with a kettle, I'm sure.
But we'll make sure there's a kettle for you or a vending machine or something.
It's more than we're used to, so it's fine.
Fantastic. I know you it's great that because. You know, you're doing something you're passionate about. Same as me doing the shows and the interviews and things like that. I love doing it, and even just a bit of a compliment from someone saying, "I really enjoyed that," or "That was really," that just gives you such a good lift, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It means a lot.
I think that's generally the biggest thing for us, really. If we can sort of after a gig, if a few people come over and say, like, "I really enjoyed your set," or like, you know, where can I find you on your socials and Spotify and when's your next gigs, and that's kind of the biggest compliment for us, really, more than anything, rather than actually getting anything else from the gig in terms of like a ride or anything like that. It's just the opportunity to sort of get out to people and people enjoying our music.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. That's what it's all about. And the events, you know, should open. You're going to be connecting with the people there, the other artists and the fans, and from our discussions together, I think you're a great bunch of guys, and your music is brilliant, and that's why otherwise you won't be on Summerfest, and you wouldn't be on this show. It's simple as that. But we really like what you're doing, and we'll be keeping our eye on you, and I will come and track you down on the day and make sure you're all. Yeah,
hopefully by that point we might have some new songs out as well on the Spotify that we can plug up a little bit as well.
I'm sure you will. But yeah, anything you've got, send it our way and we'll put it on shows. If you've got anything just before release, we'll bang it on the Atomic Dustbin show on a Thursday. Let us know and we'll run it out there. And anyway, well, I'd like from me and the rest of the team, wish you all the success, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you in about 57 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Cool. Thanks, Kirk.
Perfect.
Right, we're going to leave you to it. We're going to play out with your track, and I'll wrap the show up, and I'll see you soon. So we've been talking to the Yesteryears on Dougie's... hang on a minute. Where are I've got it here now. There we go. Duggystoneradio's introducing. Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon.
Everybody.
How good were they? Go and check them out. KFC throw. Let's see if we can make that happen. Someone get on the KFC. Another one. Done.
Hear it in the way you talk the talk any day now. I'm on my way out. I feel it in the way you touch my hair. The feelings are gone that we used to share. What you want, I know what you need. Chew me up and throw me out. On the yacht club, there's no doubt I'm coming back now. I'm coming back now. Sign me up and take me in. On the yacht club, there's no welcome back now. Welcome back now. Sitting in the way that you still, you're telling me you just don't care. I'm in the bad zone. No coming back now. I sense in the way you shrug me off. A wife that you love, dude, I cannot get. I'm going under, drifting further. Chew me up and throw me out. On the yacht club, there's no doubt I'm coming back now.
Bay. I love doing these interviews. Absolutely brilliant. Get to know the band a bit more. I'm really looking forward to meeting them in May. They are on at Summerfest at Ewood Park. Grab your tickets if you've not got them yet.
I'm coming back now. Chew me up, throw me out.
And keep us locked in with Duggystone Radio. Just say Alexa, open internet radio, or go to duggystoneradio.com, press the player, or download our apps. And you will see me lurking at Summerfest in May. It's going to be a long weekend, isn't it? But it's going to be awesome. And until next time, I'm out of here. Thanks a lot to Yesteryears for their time and their vibe. Loved it. See ya.